Hi and welcome to Larkhall in Scotland for round 3 of Champions of the Future. Now, unusually for Larkhall, it's not raining. In fact, we could have an all-dry day, which will suit a lot of these very quick drivers. It's a very testing circuit. At the same time, it's a driver's circuit. Let's find out more about it with our track facts.
It's quite a fast track. It's quite grippy as well.
60, 70 miles an hour.
First corner's a bit tricky because you need to sort of get the power through the corner so that you don't get parked.
Come down to the bottom hairpin, which you have to brake hard for. Get them on the inside, and you'll be doing well.
Someone goes down the inside of you and it goes wrong. That does happen.
Very tricky corner because you're going so fast into it and you can just slide out so easily. Up the hill, the first hairpin, because you've got to then go in, slow the car down more and keep it tight, and then block for the next hairpin so you don't jam you back.
I think they're going to struggle to find grip at the last bend. A couple of people have been running onto the chalk, all the gravel.
Well, all of that should make for some very exciting racing. But before we see the first event of the day, which is the Formula Yamaha class, let's meet the ones to watch.
Yeah, we've done lots of testing, tyres, engines, so I think we've got a good setup for the weekend. I think Simon Walker-Hansel and Danny Allen are my main rivals. They'll be ones to watch.
I've been coming here quite often since I started. I've got quite a bit of experience with it. The tyre's quite an old set, but they should be alright for today. They're all quick and they're close in the championship, but I'm a bit behind on the championship because I had a bad first round at PF.
I've been here about 5 times, 3 times with champs. Yeah, I like it. I think it's one of the best tracks. Well, I like it how it's hot. Part goes well in the heat, so hopefully we'll get better today.
Well, I can hear the guys on their roll-up lap just now, so let's join the action with our commentator, Steve Slater.
Number 87, Chris Brown on his first ever pole position, and he heads the field down into turn 1. Matthew Sherwin alongside him, but he's squeezed down to third by Jonathan Miller. It's Brown, Miller and Sherwin, Danny Allen behind them, and then Simon Walker-Hansel and Jack Linfoot, 4 and 88. Oh, and a spinner there. Jonathan Miller loses his second place. Matthew Sherwin's back there. Oh, and he's hit now by Phil Wright, James Geidel, and Ian Rumbold in that. And also dropping back Simon Walker-Hansel and Jack Linfoot. That leaves them out on their own. Now, let's see what happened. We're riding with Jack Linfoot on the replay. Simon Walker-Hansel, 5th place ahead, and there they go, locked together, out over the outside of the corner. Jonathan Miller spun on the other side of the pack. Everyone else takes avoiding action. They're all down at the tail end of the order. The top 4 places now spread out. The naughty boy, black and white flag being shown to some of the leaders there. But it's Chris Brown and Matt Sherwin, 1st and 2nd. Danny Allen and number 23, James Harvey there closing in. Number 38, also Edward Hoy, right up in the thick of the action. And number 10, Thomas Brown, 6th place at the moment for the man from Irchester in Northamptonshire. He is chasing Jack Anderson from Newbury. But the top 4, Brown, Sherwin, Allen and Harvey at the moment, all out in front. Then there's this battle, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places. Jack Anderson starting to make the break, ahead now of number 40, Tim Lawson. And moving up on his tail, Edward Hoy banging over the curbs there. This is real knife-edge stuff. 11 to 16-year-old drivers, 100cc karts with 18 horsepower, top speed here of 70 miles an hour. And all these drivers using every bit of that performance. Chris Brown and Matthew Sherwin running away now at the head of the order. Then it's Danny Allen, James Harvey and Jack Anderson. Then this battle, Thomas Brown, Tom Lawson, Edward Hoy and Nathan Richardson, number 15 there. All locked absolutely together, all 4 karts, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places. Number 38, Edward Hoy in the blue, white and red kart with a distinctive red, yellow and blue crash helmet. Closing in now on Tom Lawson from Churton, Surrey. Meanwhile, their battle now, dropping them back away from Jack Anderson on the number 11 kart, dropping behind them number 10, Thomas Brown, the Irchester man now, and they're now closing in on Danny Allen. So Danny Allen and Jack Anderson locked together in their battle for 3rd and 4th places. Meanwhile, the 2 leaders running away at the head of the order. But a new 3rd place man, because down the inside, despite all of Danny Allen's efforts to keep the drag down, wonderful slingshot there by Jack Anderson, the Newbury driver. And now closing in, number 23, James Harvey, commutes from Spain to race in Champions of the Future. James Harvey, number 23, closing in on this duo. Third, fourth and fifth places across the line now. As Chris Brown and Matt Sherwin continue to extend their advantage at the head of the field. First and second places, 87 and 16. Chris Brown from Peterborough, Matt Sherwin from Runcorn in Cheshire. And they are fighting a battle out on their own, but what a battle this is. Hunched over the steering wheel, working on the racing line now, trying to keep it tidy. Down across the line, through the first of the sweeping left-handers, now the right. Got to keep it balanced here. If you run wide, you get somebody straight down your inside, but not this time for these two. Then across the chicane, using the curbs. It's a fast and flowing and challenging circuit as across the start-finish line they start the next lap, and again they've extended their advantage over the battle for third, fourth and fifth. And Chris Brown's done an absolutely superb job so far of keeping his cool, not making a single mistake from that first ever pole position start in Yamahas. But right behind him, Matthew Sherwin, experienced young driver, still pushing hard. Then the battle for third, fourth and fifth. Jack Anderson at 11, then 0, Danny Allen, then 23, James Harvey under real pressure now for Edward Hoy. And right on the tail of Edward Hoy comes Thomas Brown and Nathan Richardson. And it's Edward Hoy that's now having to defend because his sixth place could be up for grabs. Thomas Brown closing in now. The two Northamptonshire drivers battling their own home battle. It's on to the last lap of the race. Chris Brown and Matthew Sherwin still battling for the lead. Jack Anderson and Danny Allen look as if they're set for third and fourth places, but it could be anybody's fifth, sixth and seventh places. Taking a very tight defensive line. James Harvey sliding around. Maybe he's used his tyres just a little too hard. Edward Hoy closing in with Thomas Brown right on his tail. And it's going to be three abreast into the final sets of corners. Throwing up the dirt, James Harvey gets a quick chance to look over his shoulder. And there's the little slip wide on the hairpin. It's given a chance there. No, it isn't, because Edward Hoy can't find a way past. Another defensive line from James Harvey. He's pushing very hard, drifts wide on the chicane. And losing out on that, Edward Hoy loses sixth place to Thomas Brown. And it's Brown on the move. Harvey runs wide. He gets the sixth place. Christopher Brown, Matthew Sherwin, first and second from Anderson, Allen, Brown and Harvey.
Well, I was a bit nervous at the start because it's like my first champs pole. And as soon as I got away at the start, it just all fell into place.
Fourth place on the track means a 27-point lead for Danny Allen. But a first pole, a first Yamaha win for Chris Brown. And guess it might not be his last.
Some great racing there from our Yamahas. Now let's find out how our Junior Max boys got on this weekend.
As poleman Carl Moon led the field to the start, fireworks were expected in the Junior Max final and were duly delivered. Number 6, Adam Wright, looked to have snatched the lead, but this move by Moon got it back and literally chopped the nose off Stuart Auld. With the front safety bumper removed from his cart, Auld wouldn't be allowed to race much further. Even though he snatched the lead, the black flag, retirement and disappointment were set to follow. That left another local hero, Robert Campbell, in the lead, but not for long. This move put Carl Moon back in the lead again. Just in time for the checkered flag. Confirmation then of that result. Carl Moon from Robert Campbell, Adam Wright third, Darren Burke fourth, ahead of Dean Hunter and Craig McFadden.
Join us after the break when we'll find out how our Cadet and JICA drivers do here on Champions of the Future from Larkhall in Scotland.
Stuck between the rock.
Huge right hand from Rathman.
And a hard place. Rathman v. Lewis 2, the final judgment, November 17th, Sky Box Office.
Oh, Kath, I don't know which way to turn. With so many bills, our monthly payments are getting out of hand.
Coffee. Believe me, I know exactly what you mean. That's just how we were till we called Norton Finance. They arranged a loan to pay off all our debts, and we only have one payment each month. And they're so easy to deal with. You really should give them a call.
Oh, well.
Yes, at Norton Finance, our homeowner loans are for any purpose, and whatever your circumstances, we've got a plan to suit you. We can consolidate all your debts, credit cards and loans into one low monthly payment, which could leave you with that extra cash to spend on other things. So call us now free on 0800 929 100.
Hi,
Sue, what's this, a new car? We got that loan from Norton Finance, cleared all our debts, and even had enough money left over for this. They were really helpful.
So call Norton Finance now free on 0800 929 100. Lines are open 24 hours a day.
Foggy held for leather 2 in the USA on video.
Check it out.
Carl Fogarty goes stateside in search of some mad, bad bike action. From beach babes to big bikes, the most breathtaking bike action ever.
That was awesome.
Foggy held for leather 2 in the USA. Buy it now on video and DVD.
Hiya. Wow, early 50s. Mind you, I was only 2 or 3 at the time. It's all here. It's quite sad, really. Makes you think about what you'll leave behind when you're no longer around. Something that everybody from 50 to 80 can so easily plan for these days. Peace of mind. The Cornhill Direct Senior Security Plan offers just that. Life insurance without any fuss. A cash lump sum to provide for your loved ones when they need it most. No medical, no obligation, no salespeople calling. It's that simple. The Cornhill Direct Senior Security Plan can cost from as little as £8 a month, and it's only a free phone call away. Seriously though, call now for your free information pack on 0800 22 66 55. That number again, 0800 22 66 55.
With real milk chocolate, energy for active imaginations. Scandal in the Dragon's Lair.
1 out of the 2 Harchester players that were tested for drugs after the Shelbourne game has failed.
As the Golden Boy falls from grace.
It wasn't Fletch who failed the test. It was Danny Rawson.
Is it an insatiable hunger to be the best?
If we do not get this story under control, we are out of the UEFA Cup.
Or just a dreadful mistake?
Running away won't get you anywhere, son. Why run if you've got nothing to hide?
Dream Team, Sunday at 8, Sky 1.
Welcome back to Champions of the Future, from a country which has produced some terrific racing drivers over recent times. Drivers like David Coulthard, Dario Franchitti, and Colin McRae. We're here at Larkhall in Scotland, and before we go back on the grid with these aspiring young champions, let's remind ourselves of a very talented driver who was with us a few years ago, who these days is doing something very different in Where Are They Now?
When the ASCAR concept came out and, coming to Rockingham and racing on ovals, I straight away just thought, that's for me. I quite fancy the high-speed action. I mean, there hasn't been anyone outside of the States who's ever got a full-time drive. I mean, there's been the odd guy done a race or two, but nobody's got a full-time ride in NASCAR.
DL first moved to single-seaters with Formula Vauxhall and Formula Renault. The big V8 beckoned.
I want to do some stuff in the States this year, not necessarily racing. I think I want to go over and just do a little bit of testing and see the scene and pick up a little bit of the excitement over there. As for driving, racing, hopefully within a year or 2.
Now it's time to join the super fast speed merchants, the Formula JICA boys, and here are the ones to watch.
We've been very quick yesterday practice, and today we were very quick as well. 1 or 2 problems, we'll get it sorted. The track is going to be very grippy today, so we're going to have to alter the setup on the car. I'm just trying to do my best today and try and win.
It's all right. I get a bit fed up of it because I've been here all my life, so I prefer the other tracks, to be honest. Ian Johnston, I'd say, is probably the biggest threat, so we've just got to go out there and beat him. But it's very close, like between three drivers, me, Rodolfo and Paul. It's good, it's one of the best circuits in Britain. There's fast corners, there's slow corners, there's a variety of corners. I hope to win and close the points gap between me and Paul.
Pole position man Paul Di Resta turns his advantage into the lead through turn 1. It's Di Resta from Ian Johnson, Oliver Oakes third, Rodolfo Gonzalez, an engine pickup problem there. Frantically richening the mixture on his engine, but he's sliding backwards. And it's Di Resta from Johnson, Oliver Oakes there as we ride with Johnson. Oliver Oakes right behind, but Johnson making a bid for the lead down into the hairpin. And there he is, sneaking down the inside of Paul Di Resta. The rivalry here between the two Scots, absolutely cut and thrust. We're looking back from Ian Johnson, Paul Di Resta down in second place. Oliver Oakes in third. And Johnson will be absolutely delighted to be in that lead, but he now has the pressure of everybody else breathing down that smoking exhaust pipe, bouncing over the curbs, end of lap 1. It's Ian Johnson from Paul Resta. Let's take another look at that great overtaking manoeuvre. Riding with Oliver Oakes in 3rd place. Number 3, Ian Johnson ahead. Just watch him set this up, slide neatly down the inside, pushes De Resta off the racing line, but good move by De Resta there, richening the mixture on his engine to get the power out of the corner. Oh, and that's Oliver Oakes, completely overcooks it at the last corner of the lap, and that slipped him well down the order. It's still Ian Johnson at the head of the field, Paul De Resta, then Jack Willis now up to 3rd. Rodolfo Gonzalez starting to recover. He is up to 4th, the Venezuelan. Then it's Peter Rees and Oliver Oakes recovering in 6th place. But the battle most definitely on by the man from Carluke, Ian Johnson, the man from Bathgate. This is his home track in 2nd place. Then Jack Willis in 3rd. And closing in on Willis now, Rodolfo Gonzalez, who for the last 2 years has given up his home in Venezuela to come over here to Attleborough in Norfolk to pursue his karting and racing career. Brave young man, Peter Rees in 5th place. Oliver Oakes there starting to do a fight back now in 6th. But Jack Willis really under the pressure now from Rodolfo Gonzalez down into the hairpin. Oh, and what a nice move. Just nice and late on the brakes. Clean down the inside. Jack Willis giving him racing room. Good driving by both of them there. It's Ian Johnson and Paul De Resta equally hammer and tongs at the head of the field. Jack Willis trying to plan his fight back now, I am sure. But just watch this. He just waits for Willis to make a little bit of a mistake. Slides down the inside, forces Willis wide, but Willis does a good job there. Doesn't try and close the door too late. Just keeps his racing speed up. He can still fight back on another lap. Now it's number 1, Paul De Resta, starting to come under pressure from Rodolfo Gonzalez, and this is working to the favour of Ian Johnson because Paul De Resta's having to defend now. He has to take tighter lines into the corners, and again it's the same place. Rodolfo Gonzalez just waits for him to move out and take the racing line, sneaks down the inside and up into 2nd. Rodolfo Gonzalez having a great race now through the field. Number 1, Paul De Resta, keeping the pressure on as well. This may be his home track, but it's never been a good track for him when we've had champions of the future there. Still to win here. Let's have another look at that. Just runs up onto the curb there. It makes the kart go unstable. That throws him off the racing line, and by the time he's got turned back in again, Rodolfo Gonzalez is through and in 2nd place. And all the time that's going on, Ian Johnson from Carluke is extending his advantage at the head of the order. It's still the 6-kart dogfight though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, almost as fast as you can say it. Johnson from Gonzalez, De Resta, Willis, Peter Rees and Oliver Oakes. And we're riding with Oliver Oakes down in that 6th position. Chasing Pangborn's Peter Rees. 16 years of age, Peter. This is his last season in Junior Intercontinental A. These 100cc, 80+ mile-an-hour machines. Tight and twisty around this back section of the Larkhall track. It's a very much a driver's track. Not an easy one to pass on, though. A couple of overtaking opportunities down at the hairpin. Takes a quick look out of the slipstream there of Peter Rees. Doesn't quite find the ground this time. Bangs over the curbs again on the run. Up to the start and the finish line. Sliding wide again up onto the curbs. And I've got to say, Oliver Oakes here doing a good job. See his left foot working the brake pedal hard there. But doing a good job of keeping it tidy, keeping his tyres fresh for the charge at the end of the race. Meanwhile, Ian Johnson at the head of the order, extending his advantage still. It's still Rodolfo Gonzalez now starting to make a little bit of a break away from Paul De Resta, who's struggling a little bit. Maybe he's cooked his tyres in the early stages of the race because he's got the rest of the pack now starting to crawl all over him. Jack Willis, Peter Rees, Oliver Oakes, all trying to find a way past the number 1 kart. And you can see there he's running just a little wider than everyone else. Compare that to the style of Ian Johnson or Rodolfo Gonzalez. Much less white knuckle, much less input required from the driver. And a huge slide on the brakes there by Paul De Resta. He really is pushing this kart very hard indeed. Jack Willis too gets the kart very sideways on the brakes there. And again on that corner too. Both of these two wrestling with their karts now. Peter Rees and Oliver Oakes have a chance here of overturning that order, but this man is looking good for the checkered flag. Riding with him now, heading for the flag. It's 2nd place Gonzalez behind us, but it's number 3, Ian Johnson, through the final sequence of corners now. A chance to wave recognition for the checkered flag. A brilliant drive for Ian Johnson. Rodolfo Gonzalez 2nd, Paul De Resta 3rd. Willis, Rees and Oakes complete the top 6.
Yeah, it's very good performance. Just caught Paul up a little bit, so it should be a bit closer now.
I mean, every year we come here, we never seem to go well. I mean, last year it was normally one that I never won.
Well, disappointment for De Resta, but he still leads the championship by 7 points. Delight, though, for Ian Johnson. And the message for the Scots, watch out, Coulthard and Franchitti. Your successors are on their way.
Some excellent wheel-to-wheel stuff there from our most senior category. Now let's join the boys in the junior category in Champions of the Future, the Formula Cadets. Before we see them race, let's see the ones to watch.
I've only been here 4 times now, so not really much experience, but yeah, I'm really getting used to it, and it's one of my favourite circuits. I don't think I'm one of the quickest today, but that's because I'm a little bit down on power, but hopefully I should use my skill and really get through the field to win.
Yeah, it's really fun in the wet, and in the dry it's even more rapid. There's quite a few experienced people out there, and you can lose quite a few places at the start if you're on the outside.
Last year I was 4th or something. In the year before I got sick. So yeah, generally good. Quite quick here. My first heat, I'm starting 15. I should be able to win it from there. I'm quick enough. I hope to win. Get as many points as I can.
Adam Christodoulou, number 6 on pole position. Jordan Oakes, number 9 on the other side of the front row. And it's the 2 rows of carts side by side down to the first corner. After that, all bets are off. They spread out across the track. Christodoulou makes a good start. Jordan Oakes a slow one. It's Thomas Arm into second, Daniel Rowbottom into third, then Jordan Oakes from James Bradshaw, number 26. And somebody in trouble at the tail of the field. That's number 35, Jake Rosenzweig. The man from Salisbury and Wiltshire gets going very quickly again, but he's down at the tail of the field. Meanwhile, down into the bottom corner, number 6, Christodoulou leads. Number 20, Thomas Arm, putting the pressure on. Then it's Daniel Rowbottom. Jordan Oakes trying to make up ground, and he's already doing it. Down the inside of Daniel Rowbottom, up into 3rd place. Rowbottom in the 0 cart now, in 4th position, and it's number 26, James Bradshaw, piling the pressure on. Equally piling the pressure on now. Thomas Arm trying to hustle his way past, as off onto the dirt goes Jordan Oakes. That loses him another couple of places. He's just fought back. Meanwhile, 1st and 2nd, Adam Christodoulou, Thomas Arm. Adam Christodoulou from Lichfield in Staffordshire, Thomas Arm from Ashbourne in Derbyshire. Both of them absolutely flat out through the bottom sequence of corners. Chance for Christodoulou to take a quick look over his shoulder. Daniel Rowbottom still there in that 3rd place. James Bradshaw back up into 4th place ahead of Jordan Oakes. And they are opening up a huge gap now from Scott Jenkins and James Calado in 6th and 7th places. And that gives a chance again for Jordan Oakes to fight back down the inside of James Bradshaw. Very neatly indeed there. Back up into 4th place. That's ahead of the order. The battle's still on between Christodoulou and Arm. And these two absolutely locked together. And every time they battle, Daniel Rowbottom has the chance to close in. But at the moment, Rowbottom hasn't been able to find a way past. And Jordan Oakes is now starting to close in turn on him. So he's getting very, very tight out there. Just 1 second covering the entire top 5 here. This is what cadet karting is all about. 9 to 12-year-old drivers at top speed of about 50 miles an hour from the 60cc engine karts. And absolutely inch-perfect racing from them all. And there's the classic sort of move you get. Jordan Oakes back down the inside of Daniel Rowbottom. He's back up into 3rd place now. Can Jordan Oakes do anything about the 2 ahead of him? A head-down stance from Adam Christodoulou. Very determined young racer, this. And equally determined right behind him, number 20, Thomas Arm, right on his rear bumper. And now Christodoulou has again to drive an absolutely perfect lap. Takes his hand over the carburettor air intake there, just to richen the mixture, try and give himself a bit of a boost out of the corner. Seems to have worked. He still holds on ahead of the other 4. But look at number 9, Jordan Oakes, squeezes his way alongside. He's through into the lead. Follows through by number 0, Rowbottom. And he goes side by side now with Thomas Arm. And the pair of them go off. It's James Bradshaw makes the contact. And that is an absolutely furious Daniel Rowbottom rejoining still in 5th place. Let's have another look at that. Jordan Oakes goes alongside race leader Christodoulou. Then the 0 card of Rowbottom tries to follow through. He gets wheel to wheel with number 20, Thomas Arm. The 2 of them make contact. And number 26, Bradshaw, takes advantage to move up to 3rd. And it's absolutely nip and tuck. 1, 2 and 3. Number 9, Jordan Oakes, as up into 2nd place comes Bradshaw. What a drive this young man's having. James Bradshaw squeezing down the inside there at number 6, Adam Christodoulou. And look behind Christodoulou, because closing in fast now, one of the men who lost ground in that wheel-banging incident, number 20, Thomas Arm, closing in fast on the lead trio. Oh, and that's what you call a real pilot. Number 24, Henry Surtees, the son of the former world champion John Surtees. Oliver Milroy and David Nairn also mixed up in that. Well, Milroy and Surtees are going to need a bit of muscle power to get them back on track. Oh, well, there's a champion in his blood. Surtees got the wheel spinning before he even got them back on the ground. Meanwhile, the battle's still going on into the last lap of the race, and it's number 9, Jordan Oakes, at the head of the order. Right up behind him, though, number 26, James Bradshaw, going to chase him all the way to the line. And it's into the final sequence of corners now, and closing in like a rocket. Thomas Arm, number 20, tries to move out of the slipstream and loses ground to number 6, Krista Dulu. And all 4 of them absolutely hammer and tongs. It's 3 abreast. And banging over the coast, 26, Bradshaw gets his nose in front. Then it's Oakes back again. Bradshaw back into second place, and wheel to wheel, and a spinner on the finish line. And disappointment there from out of Krista Dulu, but he gets going just in time to make it across the line in 5th. Victory for Jordan Oakes from Bradshaw, Arm, Rowbottom and Krista Dulu. Heroes all.
Well, I started second, but then I made a mistake and everyone came last. And I have to work really hard to get back up. But I did, and I'm on the podium.
Well, Daniel Rowbottom's 4th place was good enough to give him a 3-point lead in the championship. But for Jordan Oakes, just 2 days after his 11th birthday, the party continues.
That's it from Larkhall in Scotland, where it's been a pretty hot day in more ways than one. Next week, we travel to the southeast of England, to the county of Kent at Buckmore Park. Join us then for round 4 of Champions of the Future.